The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jacking. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Era Talk with Myke and Cathy. Now, Myke is pretty magical again because he's actually on the phone with me and he's not feeling well at all. Say hi, Myke. Everybody wish him well.
Hey,
out there in
how's
Radio
everybody
Land.
doing today?
Yeah, he's not doing so well. Myke, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm so glad that you're here to talk to me because you know I get lonely.
Yeah.
But
I'm here, Cathy. I'm here. I'm feeling very under the weather, but I'm here with you.
Thank you. You're here for me. You got my back. I like that. Thank you.
Always.
And you know what? He knew earlier that I was crabby about something, but I'm better. I've had an attitude improvement with this glass of wine that I'm drinking. So I'm nicer. I feel much more. And I actually ended the day really, really nicely because it's all Super Bowl stuff. Myke.
Good.
Big time advertising opportunity on all the networks. 10 days. It's going to be like on ESPN, everything. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
So it's something Griff and I are working on. And tell you what, I can't wait to tell you about it when I do. But I have to have it completed. So I'll talk to you about it off air.
I can't wait. Good job.
Thank you. It's Griff, but I'll be helping. So that's all good. That's all good. Well, okay. Real quick, I want to talk about some subjects. But first of all, before we do that, I feel really bad because we had a guest of Myke's that was going to be on this week, and I talked about her last week, and I was really excited to learn more about her and find out what drives her, but she's traveling and can't call in right now. So she's going to be doing some more training though, right?
Yeah, she's actually just landed down in Toledo, Ohio. She's getting ready for the Nationals there. She had just actually got there, so she's probably getting situated and things like that now. Right. She's going to be there for a little bit, so yeah, this is kind of one of those days. We'll definitely interview her again maybe next week. Yeah,
maybe we can do that. That'll be good. But so I've got some different guests, last minute step-ins. So let me tell you, I'm going to put a whole story together. It's going to include what's been going on in my life. And also it has an I can't make this shit up moment in it. And it's just, it's pretty cool, actually. So, I have 3 kids. If people don't know that, I do, and I'm very proud of all 3 of them, all boys. And I'm a girly girl, so it's been very interesting with growing up with boys. I thought instead of them needing a cup, that we could just use juice boxes. That was my first experience into the sporting world with my oldest son. Yeah, she's stupid. But anyway, my oldest son left a year ago on November 2nd, and he came back on November 2nd, and he flew into Chicago with his absolutely beautiful girlfriend. If you're friends with me on Facebook, I know I've shared pictures of my kids because like I said, I'm very proud, as I should be, as you are of yours. But, so went to Chicago. Austin, my middle child. So Keaton is the oldest. He is 28. No, he's not. He's 27. He'll be 28 next week. I'm just practicing. He's almost the same age as me now. Crazy. But, so they flew into Chicago. It was Austin's birthday, October 27th. So for his birthday present, I brought him and his girlfriend, Shelby, to Chicago and to surprise his brother, and it was wonderful. We flew in Saturday morning. I only had like 4 hours of sleep, and we were up at 4 and out the door to catch 6. So we're there, surprised them, that was great. Raining, cold. I brought an umbrella, but I didn't bring appropriate shoes for walking around in Chicago. And that's all you do. So I had wet feet. They were sliding around in these little flat shoes, and it was cold. I got some boots. Okay? Are you still there? Am I putting you to sleep? Myke. Oh my God, I'm putting him to sleep. Myke, wake up. Anyway, I'm just going to keep talking now.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. So anyway, I go into a thrift store because it's pouring rain. I don't want to buy nice shoes and just wreck them in the rain. So I find these boots. They're kind of snug. They're a little small for me, but my feet are wet and cold, and I get some socks. I put these boots on. They're not anything I would have bought because they had these like gold spikes on them, but it wasn't too bad. But anyway, so I have those on. We're walking around, have a great time. End up going to Ditka's, where seriously, in one day, Myke, when I went there a few years ago, I became a regular because I went there 3 times in one day. So went in this time, they remembered me again. But anyway,
wow.
Yeah, I love Ditka's. If you've never been there, you gotta go. And they have the best lobster bisque.
You love what?
Lobster bisque.
But what do you love?
Ditka's.
Oh, okay.
Ditka's. Myke Ditka was the coach of the Chicago Bears, in case you didn't know that. Okay, for those of, there might be somebody, I doubt it. So, anyway, I drank too much coffee, but today. So anyway, we do that, and then we go out, and I'm all excited to show the kids the places that I know that I've gone to in the past, and so we went to some different bars. Long story short, I outlasted and outdrank everybody. And the older two, I understood because, they just flew in from Italy, and I'll tell you about that. I'm going to let him tell us about that because he'll be up here in a little bit. But, so they left. So I had the middle two, they're both 23, and they're getting tired. I'm going, what? No, I'm just getting started. I'm doing shots. I'm talking to somebody. There's this guy. There's this bar called The Lodge. It's my favorite place to go. And there's this little hallway bar. It's crazy. So it's a blast. I love it there. We'll go. Well, anybody that wants to go to Chicago with me will go. But we went to this other bar called Mother's. And downstairs they had karaoke. So Austin, my 23-year-old, he got up and sang like a Backstreet Boys song. Got everybody started. He was the first singer. I talked my oldest son into putting in a song. And he's not getting called up. Well, this bothers me, of course. And so I go up to the guy that's running it, and I go, can you look for Keaton, please? When's he going to be up? And I'm being nice. And he's like, oh, there's a bunch more people still in front of him, like 5 or 6. Okay. Go back, have another shot. And then we go in the back, and there's a dance area in the back, and we're checking that out. Come back, and I'm noticing people up there twice. They haven't called him yet. And I'm going, what in the world? So, me being weird, I guess that's the word. But you can interject if you want to, Myke. But I go up and I tell the karaoke guy, I go, you still haven't called Keaton. What's up with that? And he goes, his name hasn't come up yet. I go, well, big mistake. Really big mistake, because actually Keaton's not his real name. It's Ryan Gosling. So he's not ever going to want to come back here. Way to go. How stupid, right? So that's one of those only I can do moments. It's not happened to me, but when we walked out, when you look at my son, he does resemble him a lot. People mistake him for him. So that was my little, that's what you get for not calling my. But so then we go to the Lodge again, and I'm talking to this guy in that little hallway bar. And it's crazy. He's from my town. He knows the bars that I hang out with, or hang out at. But he even named a certain guy that I used to date. And he said every time he was there, this guy would be there. Anytime he talked to a woman and then walked away to go to the bathroom or whatever, this guy would move in on the girl and take her away. And he said the name, and it was so funny to me because, yep, it was a loser that I used to date. But anyway, that's one of those can't happen to me moments. What do you think of that? Hello? Are you awake, Mike? See, I know he's asleep because he's sick. But I'm still talking. Anyway, so going to Chicago was absolutely wonderful. Getting my son back after a year. That's the longest I've ever gone without seeing him. And now he'll be 28, so he missed a whole year of his life. So I should just... I was 26. I missed his birthday. But hopefully he'll be up here. He is at my house with his girlfriend Francesca. I want him to talk a little bit about his travels and everywhere he went and how he decided to go everywhere they went, and some of the mishaps that happened. And that way, I mean, for people that want to go somewhere, I don't know anybody that's got more experience than he does, and doing it the way they did and saving the money and being ready, all of that. Because, for me, money, financial, education, all of that with what I do is very important. Talking to people about having income they can't outlive. And one of the things that the advisors that work with me at Hall of Fame Financial and their own businesses, they work with annuities. And I know I've talked about it before, but seriously, I don't care how old you are. Make sure you have safe money. The market is going to correct itself, and we know whatever goes up comes down. And I just want people that I know, and well, everybody in general, to be able to sleep at night, at least going, okay, at least I have this. I lost this much, but I had gold and silver. My friend Ryan Long, don't ever hesitate to reach out to us at Hall of Fame Financial. Go to my Facebook page or halloffamefinancial.com. Ask me to get in touch with you or get one of my advisors to get in touch with you, because just make sure you're taking care of things. And also, when you're younger, that's the best time to get started. If you're not doing your 401k, make sure you do it, because employers usually match it. And that's one of the best ways to set yourself up for retirement. And that money, now let's say your retirement age, and you're leaving work, and you really need to talk to somebody, take that money and put it into something like an indexed annuity that will share in some of the market gains, but not share in the losses. So all these people, when 2008 happened, they didn't lose anything. They didn't gain anything. So it's almost like, congratulations, you got zero growth this year, but that means you didn't lose anything. Your friends did, on Wall Street or wherever they had their money invested. But definitely talk to us at Hall of Fame Financial. And I want to see where I really would love for Mike, are you still there? Wake up. He's at my house. I've had an empty nest. I don't know if I talked about my youngest son, who's 18. The day he turned 18, for the National Guard. Very proud of him. Basic training, but he's still in Fort Benning. He graduated AIT. I'll be really excited to go back to Atlanta. In Minnesota. And I really want to also, here in Minnesota, it being 20, I would love to hear from people that listen to us. Let me know where you're from, what you do. Definitely tell me about your can't make this shit up moments. I'm serious. Talking to a guy that named the guy I used to date that I didn't realize such a But getting it getting it said to me at the lodge in Chicago absolutely confirmed my not seeing him anymore. Yeah, funny. I'm in the same house as him, but I just texted. Keaton is just a treasure to me. I was single when I had him at the age of 5. I just gave. So I'm 39. But it was just him and I for a few years. He's my boy, and so I'm gonna. So I'm going to have my son come in, and I want to introduce him to you. His name is Keaton, and I'm just so excited that he's here under my roof with his beautiful girlfriend, Francesca. Hi, Keaton. How you doing? But he was. This was like literally last second. But Keaton, I was talking about you've been literally pretty much around the world in a year. And so, let me ask you, what made you decide to do that? That's a big move. I mean, you were working, you had a job. Tell everybody what you do for a living.
Well, currently I work in architecture. So we wanted to leave and escape from all that of rushing and never so for us to go. But I would say, what allowed us to be gone so long was my job, and I was able to work remotely for the entire year. So I'm from country to country and kind of keep the same thing we had going on in New York, but except in different parts of the world. So
go ahead.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's about, I'm dragging on.
Okay, well, I'm curious because, how soon did you decide to do this before you left?
We, I think, decided this in summer of last year. So probably was around June. I started with a text to my girlfriend in the middle of a frustrating workday saying, do you want to leave? Let's kind of tired of what we were doing. And then from that text, left probably 3 or 4 months later.
Wow. Do you have money saved up for it?
Had both been saving up because we had been just moved into a new apartment and things work, so we were always constantly trying to cut corners and budget where we could and save money just for our own purpose, but then realized that with the cheap cost of living in Thailand or other parts of Southeast Asia, that the money we had saved up would last us a good amount. So yeah, we saved up. Decided that we were going to travel. We worked as many hours that we could, worked overtime, add in that extra bit of cash.
Cushion. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So you mentioned Vietnam, Thailand. So those were places you decided to go to because of the price of the cost of living, or how did you decide all the different places you went?
Well, so the first part of that, we went to Southeast Asia based on both of our desires to go. It kind of seemed like an area that neither of us had, much knowledge of or much really of an idea of what culture was like there, and have this dramatic version of what everyone lush jungles and wilderness. Not where it would be, but not like a normal culture that we're used to. But going there was a completely different zone. But yeah, I think we were drawn to the fact, more unknown to us, that it was definitely cheaper. It's a popular destination for a lot of expats because of that fact. A lot of people will retire there because the money will go much further than it does here, obviously. And as far as picking our locations, we went what was top on the map. As we had the ability to jump from country to country with work, we would just look at a map, see border and country, and see if it was from there, just jumping from place to place.
Oh, so when you went place to place, how did you choose the next place you were going to? Did you have that planned out before you left altogether?
No. Like I was saying, I mean, we first only planned on Asia. So we did Thailand, and then everyone in Thailand said, "Oh, you have to check out Vietnam." So we went to back up. When we left, we originally only planned on being in Vietnam, and in Thailand. It'd only be for 6 months, only in Thailand. After 3 months in Thailand, we decided it was enough, and decided to go kind of see what was next door to us. So went to Vietnam, and there got suggestions to go to Laos, and kept going that way. People that we met along the way telling us places that were worth seeing. After 8 months in Southeast Asia, we kind of craving some normalcy, craving that you kind of take for granted, like being able to take water out of the tap.
Wow.
Getting all your groceries from one place, not worrying where they're coming from. Just like little things that we take for granted. So we then decided that we wanted to go to Europe, and Europe that became kind of more of a planned process because it kind of demanded have a schedule due to plane times, and if you flights, it's so you can't really go on the fly like you can in Asia. So that was definitely more methodical.
Can I jump back to Asia for a second, because you were in Laos? You got sick from being in Laos, and you got to Bali, right? Give people just an idea of what it's like to have to go to a hospital being really sick and not speaking their language either. I mean,
yeah, that was
tell them what you had.
Well, I had dengue fever, which is not something we hear much about in the States because it's more of a tropical borne. It's mosquito borne, so you have to be bit by a mosquito. And it's an illness that's very common in parts of South America or Southeast Asia, where you have these, tropical, warm, and wet climates. Excuse me, voice. Anyway, we were in Laos during the wet season, so it's already a combination that's very pleasant of dirt roads and monsoon-type weather and bugs everywhere. So that, of course, was hotbed for finding some kind of illness. So after 3 weeks there, we ended up in
He wasn't planning on talking.
But anyway, we got to Bali, and I started to feel just very poor, like very kind of flu-like, shivering and the waves of nausea, and then kind of also pained, or doubled with the pain of joint pain, which was something I had been really used to. So it really felt as if my bones were breaking. It was just awful illness that I don't think I've ever felt as sick.
And his mom's not there. Awful.
Exactly.
For me.
So
especially me. That
resulted then in being hospitalized. I mean, it's a long story, but long story short is that I ended up in a hospital in Bali days on the north side of the island, which is less touristy, so that meant less doctors and nurses. So communication became a very, very difficult thing. Having nurses and doctors come into the room not knowing why I'm there, even though I'd been there for, level of miscommunication that resulted in just kind of this really uncomfortable But thankfully, my girlfriend's a nurse, so she knew what I had to do. Knowing me, I would have just tried to ride it out and stay at home and drink a lot of water, and probably would have had something else worse happen.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I was seeing a picture of him laying in a hospital bed was awful. But he made it. He's home. So you went to Europe and you went all over. What was your favorite place? Where did you go in Europe then when you went over there?
So we jumped around a lot faster. When we were in Asia, we had each place for a few months at a time. So Thailand was for 3 months, Vietnam 3 months, Laos for about a month, Bali was a month, and then Asia. But Europe, being an expensive place that it is, kind of a more fast-paced environment, or fast-paced mode of travel. So we went a number of countries, but we started in Turkey as kind of our entrance into Europe, kind of be on the border of Europe and Asia. Turkey, we went to Bulgaria, Romania, Czech Republic, Austria, Croatia, and Italy.
Wow.
Italy is where we left from.
Amazing. And I've been to Mexico. That's it.
Mexico is great, though.
Mexico is great, but having the culture that they experience, coming back to Minnesota, with it being like 20 degrees right now, got to be just culture shock in itself. With all the beauty that they've seen, all of our leaves are off the trees now. But Keaton, thank you for coming in and joining us.
Yeah.
He's also a very good singer, so maybe sometime we can have one of his songs or have him come live in the studio and play something for us. I've got him here. Thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate it. I have another special guest because this is all very last minute. Thank you, Keaton. All right, he's... Okay, Myke disappeared. I think he fell asleep because he was literally right before our show tonight. I apologize for my voice. He was sick, but I have a really special guest that I want to bring on, so I'm calling him right now. He's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Let's see.
Hello.
Hello, James Bone Crusher Smith. I'm just now making the introduction to everybody out there listening. Unfortunately, my associate, Myke, is sick, and his guest that he had on wasn't able to make it either. So my son stepped in because he's back from traveling the world, and I asked Bone Crusher here to join us because we just started working on something together, and I'm really excited. I got off a call with the founders of what you brought to my attention right before the show tonight. So, first of all, thank you so much, Champ, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being on the call tonight, on the show tonight.
Thank you. So you're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I always have to ask because I like to suffer, I guess. What's the temperature there?
Well, it's a little cool tonight, but I think it was up to about 70 degrees today, I think.
Wow, I'd be laying in the sun. I guarantee it. Oh my gosh, it's already been snowing here, cold, ridiculous. But okay, I've only known you for what, 2 weeks now? I got his number from a friend of mine that played for the Chicago Bears, and we'll have him on on another show. But because of the boxing thing that Myke and I have talked about with Money Around Boxing, but what Champ here says, and I don't know if you know anything about him, I'm going to let him talk about himself. I hope you don't mind. But world heavyweight champion, mind you. So tell them why. You and I were talking. Tell them about what you've done in your life and where you got to.
Well, I grew up in Magnolia, North Carolina, and I was a little crybaby. When I was about 6 years old, I was a little crybaby. You could look at me and I would start crying.
That's how I was.
Many years later, I'd fight 10 world champions. I had convinced myself I was not going to school, but nobody told my mom and dad, so they had me dropped off from my first grade teacher's class, crying, kicking and screaming, I don't want to be here. I don't like you. I want to go home to my mom and daddy.
I was the
and
same
back
way.
in the day, you could whoop kids. And once my teacher caught me, he ran me down and caught me. She started whooping me with a fan belt. The fan belt makes the car run. It made me run too.
Oh my gosh! Ow!
And I got mad with her, and that at age 6, I started formulating in my brain. One day, I would write a book called Mad. Make a decision. That's what MAD stands for. And she sent a note by me to my mama, and the rule was, if I got a whooping at school, I was going to get at least one more when I got home.
Oh my goodness.
Odell, which is my real middle name, go get me a switch. That's what my mama said, and I was smart even back then. I got the smallest switch I could find. Mama broke that switch, and she said, I said, go get me a switch. I had to go back in the woods and get a bigger switch, and I turned around, and as she pronounced words, she would hit me with that switch. Didn't I tell you if you got a whooping at school, I was going to whoop you too?
Oh no!
And I got mad with my mama. Daddy came home. Daddy whooped me with his belt, and I got mad with Daddy. So at age 6, I made 2 decisions. One, I was going to school, and 2, if I ever got grown, I was going to whoop some people. I boxed professionally for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
But the maddest I've ever been was December 1986. I was suing the great promoter, Don King. He called me up, Bone Crusher, Donald King, and he wants to settle the lawsuit. He gave me a 7-day notice to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world. Make a long story short, I knocked Witherspoon down 3 times in the first round to become heavyweight champ. Then I became the first guy to take Mike Tyson 12 rounds when he was a fighter and not a biter.
So you were mad at Don King then, too?
Yeah, I was mad with Don, yeah.
Yes.
I get mad every now and then because people disrespect and different things, and they underestimate me, and I had to get mad. I had to make a decision.
Right. No, that's amazing, though. So when did you decide, though, to start boxing?
I was old. I had my first professional fight at age 28.
Wow. So what did you do before then?
Well, I was in the Army for a while.
I need to say thank you. Thank you for your service.
Service. Veterans Day is coming up pretty soon.
Yes, it is.
And then that's where I actually started boxing. And worked in the prison system for 2 or 3 years. Did network marketing, owned my own network marketing company at one time.
What was that? What did you sell? What was being sold?
I had a nutritional product. It was an energy product called Power Punch, and it had some ephedra in it. I got a little nervous because a couple people had died, not on my product, but they had died on this ephedra. It runs your heart rate up.
Right.
It makes, and so I backed off of it a little bit. But I've done telecommunications, insurance. I've done all kinds of things in network marketing.
Wow. So the insurance, that's my background.
Yeah.
So what was it that you were selling insurance product-wise?
Primerica.
Okay. I've heard of them. In fact...
Life insurance.
Right. And how long did you do that?
I think a couple of years.
Okay. The thing is, I worked with somebody that was like one of the leaders of Primerica because at Thrivent Financial, they wanted to do something similar to that, but it was like for the housewives to have, I call them financial Tupperware parties. And so they would get licensed and have their friends come over and talk about financial products. So, in their homes. So it didn't really take off for me, but yeah, the guy that I worked with that was training me, that's what he was big in from the beginning with Primerica. So interesting. That's great. I want to ask you a little bit. So I love that you did. You know, everybody knows who Mike Tyson is. He didn't try to get to your ear, did he? You're quite a bit taller than him.
Yeah, I fought Mike when he was a fighter, not a biter.
Yeah, that's a good fighter, not a biter. I saw Evander Holyfield at a celebrity softball tournament, and I made it a point to not look at his ear. I just didn't, because I thought it'd be obvious. So I didn't look, but I was really curious. I wanted to. Does it look different? Have you seen it? I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks a little different.
Okay, because I wanted to, but I just couldn't do it.
I have a big event coming up in Myrtle Beach in March, and guys are welcome to come down here, and we're going to invite some champions, and we're going to invite all the champions that I fought. I don't know how many is coming, but we're going to have an induction, you know, and have a meet and greet and a little amateur boxing on Friday, March 16th, and then on Saturday we're going to play some golf on the 17th.
I love that. I love that. You know what? I will do anything, you know, to help with that. Because tell them what you're raising the money for.
To build a Boxing Legends Hall of Fame museum in Myrtle Beach.
Fabulous. Because, I mean, what else do they have in Myrtle Beach? I mean, sports-wise. I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know.
They have a lot of golf courses here. They got a lot of bars, a lot of nightclubs. They have Dollywood. They got all kinds of stuff here.
Oh, there's a Dollywood there? I didn't know that. I've been to the one in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, but I did not know that. Okay. So, that in itself. So, when you left boxing, how old were you when you had your last fight?
45, I think.
Oh my gosh, that's a long career. So,
18 years.
Oh my gosh. So you took a lot of punches then too. Did you give more than you received?
I didn't take that many punches.
Good.
That's why you can understand what I say when I'm talking.
Yes, that's very good.
I realized it's better to give than receive.
Right. And
in the ring.
That's right. Well, it's better to give than receive in life in general. Which brings me to something else. What, I was on the phone for earlier. Can you just tell everybody about this? Because we'll make this, I'll advertise this like crazy, but this is the first time people are hearing about this on our show. And so what you're doing with crowdfunding and what it's going to affect and what it's going to do for boxers, for athletes, for anybody really, right?
Yeah, you can take a small amount of money, $50. You can invest it and get join a team. I think it's Global 7 crowdfunding, and then you're going to get some Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up to about $700. Is it 700 or 7,000?
I think it's 7,000. Yeah, it is.
$7,000 a coin now, and I remember when it was 10 cents a coin. There's a lot of millionaires made, and they're saying that it's going to get up to $1 million a coin. So now you want any way you can, you want to get some Bitcoin.
Right.
And you get three people that have the same interest that want to make some money, and you start receiving donations. It's just that simple.
Okay, so literally...
I set it up for me personally. I set it up for Champion for Kids with my nonprofit, 501c3, and I set it up for the Boxing Legends Hall of Fame Museum.
That's wonderful. So, literally, what you're doing with the $50 is, with the crowdfunding, you're donating that money to your cause or to another cause that they have, right?
You can raise money for anything. Do you want to buy a new car? You want to buy a house? You want to buy a Boxing Legends Hall of Fame museum? People do it for all kinds of reasons, or just want some extra cash.
Right, exactly. So what kind of goal did you give yourself?
$1 million. For me, for Champion for Kids, and for the nonprofit, for the Boxing Legends Hall of Fame Museum.
That's so great. So do you have the location for the museum yet? Is that...
Well, every time I think I have a location picked out, something happens, and but I know about where it's going to be. But, we're in negotiations.
Okay.
And we're just going to see what happens.
Well, anybody in the Myrtle Beach area or in real estate in that area, I'd be happy to get them in touch with you. If I know of anybody, I'll reach out too and see if there's anything building wise that might even be donated. If it's helping your nonprofit too. I have this weird.
We're gonna do mentoring too with it.
No, and that's okay. That's what is really important to me is when you're doing something, helping the kids, getting them in the right direction. Can you explain a little bit about the mentoring part of it? What have you done so far?
Well, I've spoken to middle school kids, encourage them, tell my story, basically the same story that I told earlier, and encourage them to make good decisions, which I do that through my book. And but my goal is to have the 65 boxers, not just champions, but the fighters that I fought, 65 of them totally, and to get them to come into Myrtle Beach and we'd be mentors. We'd spend a weekend together mentoring kids and mentoring their parents too, encouraging them, encouraging people.
That's important to mentor the parents too, because a lot of times they're busy trying to make a living and they're not there to know what's going on at home sometimes. So when they have somebody there mentoring the kids, it's helping them tremendously. And maybe they haven't made good choices. So just getting them somebody to talk to helps them as well. So I love that. So where can people go right now, Champ, to be able to find some more information on, well, number one, on the events?
They can go to www.championforkids.org. That's my website for my nonprofit.
www.championforkids.org. So that's a 501c3. So they can go on there and donate now, right?
Yeah,
so you've got.
They can go hit the donate button and they can do something with PayPal.
I love it. Well, I think what we want everybody to do is donate through the Bitcoin part of it. So we'll have that. We'll put that out there as soon as we can on our site too, so people can go on and donate to your cause as well. And now, do you need other athletes to show up for the golf tournament too? Because I'm happy to get some other people in. Whatever you need.
Okay, we'll be back in touch with you with that. But basically, I use local people. They kind of cut down the expenses,
Right. Well, you know what? I found out that you know somebody that I know that's kind of in the area. Ashley Shepard used to play for the Vikings. And so he's out there. Well, and then you have Donnell. But yeah, so he said he saw you because he goes to the football games there. But I know he'll do it for sure. That's good. But anybody that I know, and I know actually a lot of financial advisors that could sponsor as well. So I'm happy to be able to get on another call with you and just kind of map out whatever you need from me, and I'm happy to help it. But now, another thing I wanted to know from you is, because of me being in the financial services area, how do boxers get paid? Do they, you mentioned doing other things, but you started at 28. How are they getting paid? Because that's the money round side of me that's asking.
Well, I host events. I wrote a book. I'm working on a documentary of my life, a movie of my life. I speak to. I do network marketing. I do different things, but a lot of the guys don't really prepare like that, or they don't feel confidence to do it. But I've always been confident. Believe in myself. I think really it starts with confidence.
Right. No, definitely. But like while you were boxing, I mean, did you have to have another job while you were boxing? Pro, or how does that work? Because I don't know. Like I told you, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I don't know. But do you get paid every fight no matter what? Or how does that work?
Yes.
Okay, on the amateur level?
And basically you know what you're going to get paid before the fight. You sign a contract.
Okay.
For the fights.
Wow, that's okay. That's good to know. But now is that when you get to the pros, or is that also in the amateurs?
No, you can't get paid in the amateurs.
Okay. I suppose you can't have sponsors then either.
You can have sponsors, but, they can buy gloves and stuff for you.
Okay.
They're not supposed to give you money.
Okay. All right. I'm just learning this industry, so it's really exciting. I love Rocky, but, I'd have to go back and watch it to remember what Mick told them to do. But it's been a while. But that's awesome. Okay, so you have been so busy, very philanthropic as well, having the nonprofit. Wow, I just think we've got some really good opportunities here to help the youth, but also help the boxers with what we're working on, with the money round boxing. And also, I mean, I'm going to ask you right here on the air if you'd be interested in doing some speaking engagements for Hall of Fame Financial and talk about financial literacy to people too. You would help out. We'll get you some paid gigs with that.
Yeah, I think I can do that.
I appreciate it. Now, also, I lost my key to get my mail, so hopefully I have a book. But can you tell people how to get your book too?
They can call me on my cell. And I know I'm not supposed to do this. Being a celebrity, giving this phone out on the radio.
If you want, I was going to say you can have them contact me.
910-658-3408.
Okay, I talked over you. So what was that again?
910-658-3408.
Oh, okay. So seriously, you want to get the book, find out how he was mad. What's the title? Mad?
Yeah, MAD, make a decision.
Make a decision. And you made some wonderful decisions. I mean, serving our country was a decision you made, right? So that in itself, it means the world to me. I come from, my father was a command sergeant major in the Army. My mom, a first sergeant. So they did. My dad, 38 years. My mom, 30 years. So I grew up with it. Which is why I knew I would never join, because I was too rebellious. Nobody was able to tell me what to do. They still can't, unless I want them to tell me what to do. That, takes a lot. But, that in itself, really, with Veterans Day coming up, that means a lot to me and to my family and to, all of us. Thank you again. How many years did you serve? 3. No, that's fabulous. And then it turned into a career for you with the boxing by starting there. So it makes us the great country that we are now with all the craziness. I want to bring this up to you because every week it seems like, Champ, I feel like every week when I'm on this show, there's another sad, bad incident that happened. And, I know you're a man of faith. The shooting at the church. I've heard people say that they're afraid to go to church now. But, faith. We have to have faith, right? Can you talk about this real quickly?
I think what's happening with that is you have to punish kids when they're kids, and I think I've seen a lot of people try to promote kids as an adult before they're adults, and they treat them like adults before they're adults, and so they miss that age when they should be corrected and learn respect. And they go all the way through their life missing that, and then they act out. They do crazy things when they become an adult.
You know what? I agree with you. You know what? I remember, like, my oldest son acting out in a restaurant, and he was under the table, and I nudged him with my foot, and I said, "Get out from under there." And he yelled, he goes, "Oh, quit kicking me. She's kicking me." And he's 2. And I'm looking at him, I'm going, oh my God, I just realized I cannot punish you in public. Everybody's looking at me like, I'm going to take you into the car and just spank your butt. And I did. And we left. We didn't have our meal. But it's so crazy. Our whole society makes it that way almost, so you feel like you can't punish your children.
And then the police get them and they shoot them and kill them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's these times. I think everybody's so scared, and we need to pray more. I really think we need to pray more. And
no, you need to wear the kids out when they little, from birth
right.
to about 6.
No, I mean for them now. Wow.
If you do that and do it right, we don't have any problems.
No.
But if you miss that group right there, that age group right there, you're gonna have a problem sooner or later.
Well, like you said, when your mom whooped you, every syllable. I didn't get whooped that often, but when I did, I remember it. You know.
Yeah, I didn't have to. I mean, it didn't take me 1 or 2 times to get the message.
Right. Yeah, I got the belt a couple times. And I don't think I'm a bad person. I'm really a good person. So I honestly believe you're right. I really do. And you know what, people are going to probably, speak out on it or whatever. That everybody has their own opinion. But I agree with your opinion. And my children were punished. And I've raised 3 very wonderful men. Oh my gosh, they're all men. But they treat their girlfriends like the wonderful women that they are, and I couldn't be more proud. But yes, there were spankings for sure. I didn't use a switch. That wasn't a Minnesota thing. I think it was probably too cold, and the branch would just break anyway. But I did. Oh, you know what, Champ? I had to get a switch down in Kentucky because my mom is from eastern Kentucky, from the hills, and that's what they do in the South. So I did have to go get a switch one time, but my granny didn't use it very hard. And then, it was just more of the fact that she did it that I think broke my heart, and I never spoke back to her ever again. But I don't know. Your kids are grown, right?
Yeah, my baby is 30, and my oldest daughter is 35.
Wow. Did you ever have to whoop them?
Yeah.
Did they talk back?
But they call me about every day now, Dad, I love you. And before they get off the phone, they say, Dad, I love you. When can I see you?
Oh.
So I'm going up to see them this weekend.
That's so wonderful. You know what? There's nothing better than your kids when they say that to you, because it just, like, not having seen my oldest son for a whole year, that was so hard. And then I know you weren't on when he came on, but he's just done so many great things. I'm so proud of it. And my 23-year-old one too, and now with my baby down in Fort Benning, Georgia, going through basic or advanced training now. But man, they put me through the ringer when they were real little. I had one was a shin kicker, one was one that wouldn't go to sleep, and the other one was the help, mom, strip naked and then in a mall and act like I'm kidnapping him. Really? No, somebody can take him. That never happened. But anyway, again, thank you so much for jumping on here last minute. I really am going to be talking a lot about what you're doing with Noble 7 because it follows my heart. They talked earlier tonight about how we can help athletes. So we're going to be able to change a lot of lives, Champ. I really feel it. And I feel really blessed to have met you, because there's a lot of opportunities that we'll be able to bring to each other and to other people.
Right. I think so. I agree with you.
That's wonderful. Is there anything else that you want anybody to know about you that they might not know? Like, do you have a I can't make this stuff up kind of moment, where it's like nobody knows this happened to you and it's kind of crazy? But I always ask people this.
No. That's about it. We covered a lot of things tonight. That's great. I enjoyed it.
We did. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Again, last minute like that, I really consider it a huge favor, and I will do anything I can help to get your cause up and running, okay?
Thank you very much. You have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So, wow, you guys, tonight was... I didn't even stress it because I knew Myke was sick, like literally like maybe 10 minutes before the show, and felt awful. And I said, please just be on with me. And I just talked this whole time. And then luckily my son was here, so he came up. And then I texted James Bone Crusher. That it's so cool. I don't know boxing, but I'm learning. But, wonderful. I love what he's doing, mentoring kids and making opportunities for all of us to make some money. So, we will see you. Well, we won't see you unless I just send you a video. But actually, I have a face for radio, and I just think I look better